And what it does is it opens up your energies in different places. So a lot of times what happens through experiences, through just our own temperament and things like that, is we tamp down certain kinds of energies in ourselves. And what chakra balancing does is it helps that energy to flow better and makes you more present for more different kinds of experiences in your life. So,
love that.
Cool,
Yeah.
awesome. So I'm gonna ask, do you have any questions for me about any of it at all? So the goal of this is to slow down and to center and to just feel a sense of movement as much as you can and an intuitive connection with your own internal process. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna close your eyes and relax and just get comfortable. However you do that is fine. And just breathe in and breathe out and breathe in and breathe out. And so as we do this process, I'm just going to describe what we hold in that chakra, and then we'll tone together, and I'm going to trust you to guide me in your process. So just raise your hand when you feel like the energy shifted in that particular space, and we'll move to the next one, and I'll guide you on that process. And if you have any questions for me, anything that's not working, anything you want me to know, anything, just type up.
Well, thank you.
Okay, great. So close your eyes and relax and breathe in and breathe out and breathe in and breathe out. And as you breathe out, just imagine all of the worries and concerns and attachments of the day just drifting off into space. And as you breathe in, just imagine all the possibility and support and awareness and depth and connection just moving into your body. And as you breathe out, just breathe out anything extraneous and unnecessary. And as you breathe in, just breathe in everything supportive and everything that feels like home. And just start to notice that that breath naturally deepens, and that that breath kind of feels like it's breathing you. And just notice that in the middle of that breath there's an anchor, so it feels like a circle that's anchored. And just find that place in the breath, and just drop down to that place in the breath. And now just imagine that anything that you have that is too much, that you're putting into a suitcase, and you're just putting it outside of this experience. So you're setting it down entirely. And just breathe in and breathe out. And now starting with your toes, just notice this wonderful, relaxing energy moving up your body. Just feels like the best energy of you. When you were in the best place in your life, the most support that you felt you had. Just notice that energy moving up through your body, just filling yourself with the energy that feels most authentic and most resonant to your own inner experience. So start with the toes and move into the balls of the feet. And now moving into the arches, into the heels, into the ankles, moving up the calves, circulating around the backs of the knees, coming up through the fronts of the knees, coming up through the thighs and up through the hips, and up through the pelvis and the lower lumbar area, the lower lumbar region, moving up through each vertebrae. See if as you're doing this, you can find space in the body that wasn't there before. And now that wonderful relaxing energy that feels like the best energy in you is moving up around through your obliques, moving up through your core, moving up through the center of your back, coming up through your chest, up through your trunk and up through your chest. See if you can find a little bit more expansion as you breathe in and breathe out, as those lungs fill and release. Coming up through the center of the back, coming up through the shoulders now, and starting to go down each shoulder, down the arms, down the elbows, down the forearms, coming into the backs of the hands, coming out through the palms and out through each finger and down the thumbs, Just this wonderful, relaxing, expansive energy that feels like the best energy in you. And now that energy moves back up the hands, back up the wrists, back up each arm to the elbows, back up the upper arms, back up through the shoulders. And now it fills up the area in the chest, comes up through the neck, noticing more space there. Sometimes we hold a lot of tension, and we can even hold energy of judgment in the jaw. Just find more space, more softening in that jaw area. And see if you can find softening in the planes of the face. Moving up through the face, out through the cheeks, up around the occipital area, the eye area. Coming up through the forehead, coming down the sides of the head, down through the ears, up through the back of the head, circulating around the forehead and coming out through the top of the head. Just imagine all that beautiful energy that you've raised coming out through the top of the head like a beam of white light, going up, 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 as high as it goes, up, up, however high it goes. And when it gets to the very periphery, just imagine it splitting into two rivulets of water and washing over the body, washing any debris, anything that doesn't feel like it's of you, any experience that you've had that feels like you just want to release it and move it back to the earth. And just imagine it being received into the earth as the water moves around the body and comes down the body and down back through the feet. Just imagine any of those pieces of debris moving back into the soil and going back from whence they came. And now just notice this energy in your sits bones, right there where your butt hits the seat. The color there is red, and the tone is lum. And when that energy of the first chakra feels unbalanced, we can feel unsupported, we can feel unchosen, and we can feel a lot of resistance about going out into the world and sharing our gifts. We can feel like safety is the most important thing, and it's hard to leave and create space around possibility. We can have a lot of defenses around that, and we can hold that space and have trouble grounding. But when we raise that energy of the first chakra, that lum energy, we feel more supported by the universe. We feel connected to the energy of ourselves on a deepest level. We feel safer. We feel more guided and more grounded and more able to find our unique tribe and able to feel safety and feel supported within instead of looking for it outside of ourselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to tone lum together, and we're going to amplify the energy that I just spoke about. And I'm going to trust you to lead me by raising your hand when you feel energetically like you've raised that energy for yourself. So we're just going to start low in the belly. Wonderful. Now we're going to move up to the second chakra, and that's the sacral chakra. And that chakra is right there below the belly button. And the color there is orange, and the tone is Vam. And when we're disconnected from this energy in any way at all, we can struggle with energies of fight or flight, wanting to amp up and assert our will, or wanting to back down and wanting to retreat. When we move into the space of more support with the second chakra, instead of repeating these patterns, we move into a space of flow, and we're able to ease the energy through this space And when we do this, we feel more connected naturally to our five senses. And our five senses elevate our sense of joy and support in the world, and they elevate our sense of curiosity in new experiences. So we're just going to tone that tone together, that tone of VUM, and it's a little higher on our stair steps than the first one. And we're going to work to amplify that energy, that orange energy. And you may see in your mind's eye the color orange, or you may see any other myriad colors. Any of that is just fine as we're beginning this work. One of the things we're doing is regulating the energy. So just like a little kid that's like running around playing with one thing and then another thing. We're just figuring out like where we're settled in this. But when you get to the place where you're following any kind of practice, you'll want to see the orange energy. But for now, anything, whatever you see is wonderful because we're sorting it all out. So the tone here is VUM, and we're going to tone it together and amplify that energy. Wonderful. Now we're going to move up to the solar plexus chakra, and that's the third chakra. It's just right above the belly button, right there at the base of the where the trunk is and where the lungs meet. So right there along the diaphragm. It's a little higher than what I said. So that color is yellow, and the tone is rum. And when that energy is unbalanced, sometimes we struggle with what is authentic for us, what is real, what feels innately meaningful on our journey. We can give a lot of our power away to other sources or people, trying to find the energy that feels like the right fit for us and trying to get a feeling of that connection secondarily through other people. But when we clear that space and we become clear about what we want and who we authentically are, we feel empowered, and we don't care so much anymore about who we draw toward or who we draw away from, but we're looking for a resonance in all of our communications and connections and experiences. And it's easier to let go of things that aren't for us and to lean into and embrace things that feel like they really are authentically connected with who we innately are on a soul level. So that tone is rum, and we'll tone it and amplify it together. Now we're going to move up to the heart chakra, and that's right there between the two breastbones. And the color is green, and the tone is yum. And when we energize and amplify that energy, we move away from being concerned about whether or not we have a scarcity of love or who we give love to. We feel more connected and fluid in that process of loving. We realize that love can be resourced from anything in the universe just by connecting to that feeling in the world. And so we know that we have enough to give to ourselves and enough to give to others. And if too much of it is going out, we know how to easily go back to ourselves to fill our own cup. So the tone here is yum, and the color is green, and we'll amplify that energy together. Yum. Wonderful. Now we're going to move up to the throat chakra, and that's right there in the center of the throat. And the color there is a blue. Sometimes people see it like a teal, or like a turquoise, or like a peacock blue. However you see it on the spectrum, or like I said, if you see any other color, that's fine as well. When this chakra is unbalanced, either through just natural temperament or shy, I call it, or when it is triggered through an experience that isn't authentic for us, we sometimes feel like we are not creative, like creativity is for somebody else but not for us, or we feel unbalanced in that creativity, like so many things are possible but we don't feel anchored in what we want to bring into our creative lives. We also can feel, because this is the center in the voice box area, we can also feel like we're not able to say to people what we want of them and be clear and hear that truth echoed back to us. Or we can feel like we are not able to listen to our own unique creative voice, or unable to live our life in a way that brings creativity into it on a regular basis. When we amplify this energy, we don't worry about any of that anymore. We feel creative through our source, through our center. We realize that we're creative beings, and we realize that it's fine to listen to ourselves and to know what we need, to know how to listen to ourselves, and that it's also okay to ask for what we need in the world and hear it resonating, see it resonating in our lives. So the tone here is yum, and it's a little higher on our stair steps than before. And we'll just tone it together and raise that energy. Yum. Yum. Wonderful. Now we're going to move up to the sixth chakra, and that's the brow or third eye chakra. So it's right there between our two natural eyes. And I like to think of this one as a bridge. So the color is a lilac or a lavender, any light shade of purple. And I like to think of it as a bridge from imagination to manifestation. So on that bridge, as you're crossing it, we're strengthening the energies of that bridge. And what we start with is anything that draws us in our imagination. So as an artist, that I'm sure is a process that you're familiar with. But then, like when you're doing a painting, you probably zero in, or whatever your art modality is, you probably zero in on a part that feels really meaningful to you. And that's where you get an intuition of something, like, oh, I really want to work on this part right over here. There's a lot of energy here. So that's how we raise the energy from the imagination into our intuition and notice. And then we set intention. Oh, I want more of that experience, feeling, connection there. And so we raise the energy on that bridge and then move into the place of manifestation, which is all about, I want to see more of that in my life. I want to feel more of that. That thing that I put into that picture, I could have more of that in my life. So however it shows up, we're moving from the place of appreciation and curiosity with the imagination into manifestation in our actual reality. So the tone here is Om. You're probably familiar with this one. So we're going to raise and clear the energy on that bridge as we tone together. Om. Wonderful. Now we're going to move up to the 7th chakra. And that is that area in the very top of the head where we had that rivulets of water coming out and that white light beam coming out. Just imagine going back to that space. And the color there is a white or a golden, or sometimes at this point in the meditation, people just see it like everything is lit up or sparkly or illuminated. Any of that is wonderful. The space there is about connecting with the divine or source energy, usually creative flow energy, however you see it, however you experience it. But it's about realizing that we're connected not just to our finite self, but to this expression of the divine in our lives, and that we can gather inspiration and source our imagination from that space of connection with everything in our lives. And when this space is unbalanced, sometimes we feel unworthy, or like we're not chosen, or like we have to work harder to make that connection. But when this space is balanced and cleared, we realize that we're always authentically connected, and that it is an illusion that we aren't, that we reinforce for ourselves. And we're able to set down that illusion and feel connected more often to what is divine for us on our own, in our own definition. And the tone here is the sound of silence. So it's a great time to connect in with your practice. Notice anything that you noticed, or maybe an area that was shy, any what I call shifts or lifts, any messages that maybe you got, divine inspiration. Sometimes people connect with animal helpers or totems or their own creative process. Anything that you felt was meaningful. Just open up the channels just like you opened up that beautiful water and that beam of light, and just find a connection there in that deep, deep way in yourself and with the universe. And now, and in your own time, just come back into the room, awake, relaxed, refreshed, and more aware and connected than you were before. you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Feel relaxed.
Good.
Feel rejuvenated.
Good. Good. I really, is it okay if I give you a little feedback?
Absolutely.
And do you want to give me feedback? You're welcome to, or you don't have to. However works for you.
No, you were super amazing with how you worded everything, and very articulate, and giving time and space for like someone like me who's never done this to process and to, you know, think about where I'm at each chakra. And,
Good.
yeah.
It was really a joy to work with you because you went there really fast. Like sometimes when people do this work for the first time, they're focused, they're like real focused on everything around the room. And you just went internal really fast. I mean, and you're just like, I know what I'm here for. And you were centered really fast. And you were able to stay in the work. It was clear that you were really clear about when you needed to move for you. And it's such a joy to work with someone like that.
Yeah.
So what I noticed in working with you was it felt like you had a lot of connection with the third and the fourth and the fifth. Felt like they were like a cluster for you where you're doing work, being more authentic, asking for what you want in the universe, and feeling a source of love and flow. Felt like areas that you could work with together for a lot of inner guidance, and felt to me like the energy of the sixth chakra was really clear and really activated just totally naturally. And the energy of the second chakra there, that joy and that connection with the five senses was really naturally open. It felt like you're working on becoming more of a leader in your own life, and how to do that in a really loving and clear way, how to step up and how to ask for what you need in the world. That those were places that you're really working on clearing. So that was what I was able to pick up.
Wonderful.
In
Yeah,
the
I think you're right. Like at this point, you know, since I've been at home a lot, and I've been in this place where I'm trying to do a lot of work on being more comfortable being alone, being more purposeful and being more mindful. And I've been biking a lot and walking and really trying to take in nature, and been working in my garden a lot. So I'm just trying to become more comfortable with silence and with myself without, you know, distractions.
Yeah.
Like I feel like before all this, I've had a lot of trouble, you know, I fill the space and I fill the time, and then I am depleted at the end of it. But it's a Band-Aid in the long run, and, you know, I think something like this is super helpful for me because it opens up my like heart space a little bit, and it opens up you know, possibilities, and it kind of puts words to what I'm already trying to do. And
that's wonderful.
So thank you for it. I really appreciate it. It was
Oh,
wonderful.
You're really welcome. Absolutely. Thanks so much.